Welcome back to Web Cafe AI. We do daily ChatGPT and AI videos for your personal and business life. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the app Formatter by Zapier, and this is going to be a part of our huge playlist, which is going to be Road to 5,000 Apps with AI and Zapier. Specifically, the goal of this playlist is to show you how AI can integrate with all different apps found on Zapier. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to stay tuned, as we're going to show you how to leverage AI in all possible contexts. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into today's tutorial, which is going to show you how you can use Formatter with AI. All right, we're going to go ahead and rename this to Formatter by Zapier. And for this specific use case, using Formatter is typically found when you're just in a flow. You don't necessarily use Formatter in the context of like, hey, this is going to be the end output or the beginning output, if that makes sense. Essentially, Formatter is more of a way for us to take outputs by ChatGPT and essentially restructure the data to be more clean, or for our specific use cases, that could be either setting it up so a huge ChatGPT block can now be sectioned off into different data points, or removing specific data points and so on. This will make a lot more sense. As always, you can find the Zap we use in today's tutorial in the description below. Due to the fact that when you use Formatter, it's not going to be your trigger. We're just going to show it in the context of essentially setting it up as a scheduler, and we're going to be able to use Formatter later on in this flow. From here, we're going to essentially just, say every day, hit continue, time of day. We're going to go ahead and go with 1 p.m., continue, test that trigger. Perfect. And continue again. And in today's video, let's go ahead and show you two different use cases that Formatter can be used in. So let's go ahead and ChatGPT here. We're going to say conversation. We're going to do a very simple prompt here. Essentially, the prompt here is going to say is generate one caption for a company that sells dog food. Just something random, just so we can get some data that we can format. And we're going to go ahead and use GPT 3.5. That's fine. We don't need to make a memory key. We're going to continue here. We're going to test that action, and let's see what that output would look like. All right, perfect. So we got our output here. Obviously, in the initial prompt, I could add hashtags, add a CTA, add a ton of other stuff. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to show you how to format this. So as you see here, sometimes when you deal with GPT outputs, you get very annoying things that can occur, such as special characters. So in this context, we got some quotation marks. Let's go ahead and use Formatter to remove those quotation marks. We're going to go ahead and add a new block, use Formatter, and then we are going to choose the event of text. A lot of the times when you're dealing with GPT, it's going to be in the context of text for Formatter. We're going to go ahead and hit replace here, continue, and our input is going to be that initial conversation for the social media caption for dog food. We're going to say find the quotation mark, replace it with nothing, as we don't want anything to be in the place there. And then now the output, there we go. Perfect. So you could use that caption right away in your social media schedule and not have the nuisance of essentially having a quotation mark in the output. So that is one way you can use Formatter with AI and Zapier. Let's look at the next way. So the next way is when you're dealing with large data blocks and essentially you don't want to make maybe 4 different GPT outputs to achieve something. So let's just give an example here. We're going to go ahead and do ChatGPT and do conversation. Continue. We're going to say generate in 4 steps the way to cook pasta. We're going to go ahead and use 3.5. That is fine. We don't necessarily need a memory key here. We're going to test that action and let's see what it comes out to be. Okay, perfect. So as you see below me, we got sure here the steps to cook pasta, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So maybe in some context, you don't want to go out of your way to make it so that there is 4 separate ChatGPT blocks that, make step 1, make step 2, make step 3, make step 4, because that's the only way you'd be able to access each step with by itself essentially, right? Because right now, this entire block is one data point that I could push towards any other app. Let's go ahead and figure out how we can split that. So we're going to go ahead and do Formatter again. We're going to do the event of text, continue, and then the transform, we're going to do split. We're going to do split text. We're going to input the conversation that we just had there, which is going to be assistant response message. And then the separator, this is what's key here. And what's great about this specific plugin is that we have, not plugin, but app, we have documentation. So as you see here, there's different ways we can go about it. It's just space, tab, new line, return. For our context of what we're trying to achieve here, we're going to say new line. So I'm going to Command C that. I'm going to put that in there. And then for the segment index, this is very important. We got to make sure that we set it up so all is being identified as a possible variable. But on top of that, the variables are going to be separate fields. That's going to be very key in this instance. We're going to go ahead and test that action. Perfect. So as you see here, we went ahead and parsed that data. So now every single one of these outputs is a separate piece of code. We can go, or not code, but text. We can go ahead and grab, and you might be saying, Corbin, what are you talking about here? Like, what does all this mean? Like, why did you even do that? So let me just show you an example of why. Let's just go ahead and just do a Google Doc so you can kind of get a better, more visualization of what is occurring here. So we're going to do Google Doc. We're going to do an event of, we'll just say create document from text, continue. And we're going to go ahead and choose our courses account, continue, and then we're just going to put test here. And then let's go ahead and put in the use case of what we just created here. So if I didn't have that formatter block, essentially what would occur is that I would put in that assistant response message, and then essentially that entire block of data that we showed here would be pushed towards the document. So there's no way of separating it. It's just all 4 steps, all congested together, etc., etc. Now that we formatted the text, look at this. Okay, I can grab step 1. Okay, maybe I want to grab step 1, you know, put it in a break here because this understands HTML. And then I want to grab step 2, like so. And then kind of proceed from there. Now you can see how the data has been separated and formatted into separate blocks, because maybe some part of that paragraph shouldn't be, you know, right next to the other parts of the paragraph. So you want to throw that somewhere else in whatever context you may use this. If you feel like you learned something, make sure to like the video. It's completely free and it helps us here at Web Cafe AI. If you found this information really valuable, check out the playlist at the end of this video as we go over a ton of other ways that apps and AI and Zapier integrate together, as we plan here at Web Cafe AI to do all 5,000 apps on Zapier. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to stay tuned. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for tuning in. And yes, surprise, I'm an AI avatar. Make sure to explore more here at Web Cafe, where we demystify AI for your personal and business life. Until next time.